Welcome to HomeFront Sit Rep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sit Rep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sit Rep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting.
Out on the edge of the battle and back, we've carried the weight and we've walked every track. From desert dust to the fire at home, we've learned how to fight, how to stand alone. But no one tells you what comes after the war. When silence is louder than the guns we bore, that's where we speak, that's where we heal. Stories too real for Hollywood reels. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see. We're warriors to battle just differently. This is our check-in, our voice, our step. This is the HomeFront Sit Rep podcast. For the fallen, the fighting, and those who came home. For the brothers and sisters who still feel alone. We're holding the line with truth and respect. This is the HomeFront Sit Rep podcast. For the fallen, the fighting, and those who came home. For the brothers and sisters who still feel alone. We're holding the line with truth and respect. This is the HomeFront Sit Rep podcast. It ain't all medals and waving flags. There's pain in the silence and weight in the facts. But we've got a mic and a mission to share, to tell the damn truth, cause somebody's gotta care. We laugh, we cry, we cuss, we pray. We honor the ones who ain't here today. From basic to battle and back to the block. This is our rhythm of round table talk. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see. We're warriors to battle just differently. This is our check-in, our voice, our step. This is the HomeFront Sit Rep podcast. Still heavy in dreams out of reach, for the lessons the textbooks could never teach. We're sounding off, no filter, no prep. This is the HomeFront Sit Rep podcast. So if you've worn the boots or love someone who did, if you swallowed your hurt and kept it all hid, pull up a chair, you're not alone. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see, where courage meets scars and raw honesty. This is our anthem, our truth intercept. This is the HomeFront Sit Rep podcast. For the ones still standing and those we've lost yet, for every single story we'll never forget. We speak so others won't forget. This is the HomeFront Sit Rep podcast. Real talk, real facts, real life. HomeFront Sit Rep podcast, where the mission continues.
Welcome, everybody, to a Sunday edition of HomeFront Sit Rep. How is everybody doing? Gunny, how are you, sir?
I'd like to say rested, but I don't think that's the case, man. It's just been go, go, go. I don't even remember if I've been on since I got back from the cruise. I think, I was on.
I think we did one show, yeah.
Yeah, we had General Kelly on. So,
yeah,
after that, went out to El Paso, got out there, did our practice day. And right at the end of our practice day, when the last act was going out, the jet team was going out, we got word that the air show was going to be canceled. Government shut down. We were on Fort Bliss. So it's just one of those things that, the optics of it, right? And going forward with an air show on a military installation, whatever, And then, which forced me to drive all the gear back, myself and one of the teammates. So 22 hours back across Texas and where else? Arkansas and Tennessee and up into Kentucky, man, it was just ridiculous. And then I want to say Friday morning, got in the plane, flew down to Virginia Tech. Man, if you have never been part of that opening game ceremony, pregame ceremony, it's on my Facebook, and it doesn't pick up everything. That the electricity from the fans, as soon as Enter Sandman hits, it's like, oh my Lord, it's on.
Oh yeah.
And then got back home, I don't know, 12:30, I guess, yesterday morning. Slept for a few hours, got up, went up to the shop, grabbed the gear I needed for UC. We jumped into UC, University of Cincinnati, yesterday. And then today I just lounged, went grocery shopping, cooked some dinner, and then back at it this week. We have a Wednesday night college football game this week, which is real crazy, right?
Yeah, it
Uh,
is crazy.
Up in Toledo, so going up to the shop, jumping in our plane, flying up to Toledo to do that show, and then I think I'm off for a week or two after that.
Heck yeah.
Um, I know we got Vandy coming up. We've got Mississippi State coming up. We've got Ohio State coming up. We have more UC. We do every UC home game, so that we have I think 2 more UC home games, 3 more UC home games. So our season is winding down, but yeah, I'm busy still. So how about
Oh
you? How you
man.
been the past week?
Man, this cold weather, I love it. And we talk about it all the time. I hate heat. I love cold weather. So I'm so glad that the cold weather is here now. But other than that, I've been super busy, man. Just been busy with life, working and then taking care, making sure my mother-in-law's selling her house and everything's just the cycle of life is just moving on. And we got a kid in college, and the wife and I went up and watched so Friday night we had a football game. So I didn't go to, it was an away game. So the wife and her friends went to the away game, and I took my youngest to Field of Screams out in Otter Creek. And man, this year was longer than last year's. They added some more extra stuff in between, and man, I tell you, and I felt really bad for the people in front of us and the people behind us, because those were the ones that the actors went after, because they were the most scared, right?
Yeah,
And now my daughter got scared a few times, and I kept getting ran into by the people behind me, because they jump out with the chainsaws, and the people behind me just bull rush. And I'm like, bro, but it was fun. It was a great time. Lorelai and I, we go every year, and we've gone for the last 3 years. And so that's kind of our new tradition, as we go at least once before Halloween. We go to the Otter Creek and go to the Field of Screams. And she went to Baxter Morgue this year already without me. I was like, you didn't go with me, and I was a little mad, but it is what it is.
yeah.
And then with Saturday we went up to EKU, watched the EKU Colonels play Tarleton State University out of Texas. Um, Now they're in FCS, so Tarleton is ranked number 3 in the
Mm,
nation in their little
right.
FCS division. So needless to say, they put a whooping on EKU, and so we came back from there. Then we had a Halloween party that our friends put on every year. So we went over there for a little while, and then we came home. I watched the U of L game. Julie watched the UK game, because we can't watch the same game, because she's a UK fan. I'm a U of L fan.
Right.
Even when they're playing each other, she has to be in a different room than I, because I will not watch the game with her.
Well,
It just
hopefully this year you're on the field with me.
Yeah,
Um,
hopefully.
so we'll,
Is
we'll
it,
see.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll
I
see.
mean, it's still on the schedule. It's going to be a mascot jump. It is for us every year. But yeah, we'll see what happens with all this government shutdown. FAA not approving, paperwork. So there's been a ton of air shows shut down. We had to cancel 3 shows this past weekend because of the FAA, approval process or not being approved for the jumps. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's an anomaly this year that we're not doing what we usually do.
Yeah, that's November 29th, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's the last home game. It's that UK game.
Yeah. So we'll have to. I'm definitely going to go. I'm hoping to be there, especially on the sidelines with you. I think that'd be pretty cool to get to hang out down there with you down there, and do some live streaming maybe from the sidelines. I think that'd be pretty neat. But speaking of that, so next month, man, just a couple days, uh, is a very important month. I mean, one the Marine Corps birthday. That's for us Marines.
Yeah.
That's a holiday that we never skip. Then right after that, you got Veterans Day, and
Well,
then
and they developed Veterans Day just so Marines had a day to recover. That's how that all happened.
there you go. And so we got 2 great guests coming. We got one guest that's coming back. He's been on multiple times early on when we first started the podcast, and then sporadically in between. Mr. James Thornton. He's the ambassador for Warrior Rounds. Warrior Rounds is based out of Nashville, Tennessee. They pair veterans with singer-songwriters, Grammy award-winning singer-songwriters, and they write a song about that veteran's life. If you haven't checked out Warrior Rounds, go to Google, type in Warrior Rounds, Nashville, Tennessee, and look and listen to the videos that are on their website. Or you can go to YouTube and check out Warrior Rounds there too. It's just some of them. I'm telling you, get some tissues because you're going to need it with some of the stories that some of the songs that are written. I know James Thornton. If you listen to his story, oh, it's crazy. You will need tissues for sure. And then we have the mayor of the city of Shepherdsville. Mayor Jose will be coming on here in just a few minutes to talk about the upcoming events that are going to happen in the month of November that are surrounded by veteran related things. And it's going to end with Warrior Rounds Kentucky style, and we'll get to that about that here in just a few minutes. So, but other than that, man, it's the end of the year. November, we got a lot of dates open in November left that we're trying to fill with some guests coming up for November. This month is almost over, so we got a couple. I think tomorrow and then tomorrow and Wednesday, and this month will be done. So Wednesday's our tip of the spear. We do it every year. I think not this tip of the spear, but next tip of the spear for November, we're going to have General Kelly on the panel. I think that'll be pretty cool to have him on there. Introduce him to
pretty busy this month.
Yeah, he's pretty busy, especially the 28th and 29th with Total Force Plus. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out MOA. I think it's moa.com. And then you can also go to totalforceplus.org and see what Total Force is about. Or you can just go back and find that episode we had with General Kelly and watch it and learn all about MOA. But other than that, I want to give everybody on TikTok a hello and say thank you for joining the stream on TikTok. And then all of our watchers and listeners here, thank you guys for coming back every time we have a live. It means the world to Gunny and myself that you guys are here watching us and listening to the information that's been provided. But with that being said, let's bring James and Mayor Jose up to the stage.
Absolutely.
Welcome, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Well, good evening. We're doing well. Sounds like everybody's been pretty busy for a while, right?
That's life. We stay busy. My wife will tell you, if I take a 2-minute break, I'm usually falling asleep on the couch because that's how busy I am. I stay super busy.
Yeah, we do about 200 shows a year, and I'd say about half of that happens from mid-August to the end of the year. So we're very busy with the skydive team.
Oh, yeah.
NASCAR's wrapping up, IndyCar's wrapping up. You have all the fall festivals that are starting, and then of course, college and high school football start up. So yeah, we're very busy. It's not uncommon for us to be at 5 or 6 shows on a weekend.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Well, let's do this, Mr. Mayor. Since you're new to the show, let's introduce yourself to the world of HomeFront Sit Rep, if you don't mind.
Well, first of all, my name is Jose Cubero, and I am the mayor of Shepherdsville. And as I try to tell people more than anything else, is that our community has come a long way in a very short period of time. But we really we appreciate the idea of coming on the podcast here to talk a lot about what you guys have mentioned about some of the events going on. But really, with the community, I'd like to spend just a few minutes to talk about how our community, our elected officials, are really doing this recognition and appreciation for our servicemen and women. I think that kind of fits into the events that are coming up. But we really want to make sure that's a 365 kind of thing. And there's different ways that we can do that. How we help our veterans and find the services. And I've seen a lot through what James has been doing, JT Cooper out of the Nashville market. And I've got to meet some really cool people. I know we're going to talk about a number of things, so I kind of hold off, but I'm just excited to be on the podcast to talk about what we really can do to continue taking care of our veterans that are no longer serving, but do need services. And obviously recognizing that our military today need all that appreciation that we hope that we can always give you guys.
Awesome. Now, let's ask this, because of people that don't know you, why are you so passionate about the things that you do for veterans? There's a reason why you do it.
Yep. Well, I could start with, I was born in Berlin. That might give it away. And so my dad was 21 years in the military, twice in Vietnam, 2 Purple Hearts, and twice in Korea. And I did not serve. I went to college here locally, played baseball. Thought I was going to be a pro baseball player at one point. So, but I do think it's important for me in watching what I've seen through the military life. We moved a lot up until 1968. We got stationed at Fort Knox, and I lived most of my what I call formidable years in the Elizabethtown, Ratcliffe, and Fort Knox area. So then moving on, I graduated from college, was in the restaurant business for a while. I am a regional VP for another company that I work for, but obviously my passion is being involved in the city of Shepherdsville. And so to me, it started really, I'll be honest with you, we've always had a recognition. We always appreciate our servicemen and women. But I think really has really put it on steroids was when James approached us with obviously having the replica of the Vietnam Wall here in our community. We had the 80% replica that the James introduced us to that group. And it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal to see the folks that got a chance to really appreciate that. And from that, there have been 3 different ways, like the American Legion, the VFW, really working with these organizations, active heroes. There's a lot of different organizations that want to help. And we decided that as elected officials, we have platforms. We have platforms that we're on to bring these individuals. And that just means more folks to learn about, first of all, services for our men and women that really, a lot of them, my dad has passed away since, but he would be 86. A lot of folks don't know where to go to get some of these services. And it's a shame because they deserve them as much as every veteran. And sometimes they don't know where to go. And I've seen some really good things out of the American Legion, trying to help out active heroes, the VFW. So we do have these organizations, getting them all connected and helping those men and women because, they're not tech savvy. And I think that's what we're getting into. That group is they really weren't around computers. I'm barely hanging on to, I know what the off and on button is, but but for a lot of them, they don't know where to go. And so that really meant a lot to me. And I think just the fact that in our community where we did the banners, it was really nice that somebody called the office and said, thank you for putting my grandpa up there. There's nothing make my day more important than that. Or I saw my aunt. In one of your banners that you had in the downtown area. And I think that's kind of the things that we're doing. So we're just getting started. I think James probably would concur to that, but there's a lot of good things going on in this community and what you guys do. I love the intro to what you did. I was spirited by that. Something to get excited, like, what can I do next? Because we do realize you show us what you go through day in, day out. And I thought that was a great intro. So listen, I'm excited to be here. Most people know me. I go 100 miles an hour. I tell myself I'm 65 and I act like I'm 7. Right?
My wife will tell you the same thing.
Yes, that's the thing. Is that same thing, Sam? Yeah. So I do think for me, it's been a really exciting. I appreciate being on here because we really want people to get excited that even if you did not serve, please get involved. I tell you, it's been great for me. Obviously, I knew a lot of what my dad went through being in an E8, he was staff sergeant, that kind of stuff. And you get to hear that. I remember him shining up his buckles and his boots and all that good stuff every evening before the morning. So I remember a lot of that. But for me, I think we just have a time in our society right now. A lot of our older veterans need us. They just need guidance. Need just, hey, how you doing today? And thank you.
So what I like about you is when you were approached, and I was talking with James, when we were talking about bringing the Vietnam Traveling Wall to the city of Shepherdsville, when you were approached about that, there was no hesitation. You were like, let's do it. Let's bring it. And you were like, let's roll. There's some mayors, of course, where I live. There's some mayors that say they're veteran friendly, but are they really? Because, there's things that I brought up and I'm like, hey, let's do this. And crickets. I hear crickets. And I'm like, because I've talked about doing a Veterans Day parade in the city that I live in, and it gets shut down every year. And I'm like, why? Why does it get shut down? And, here you did the Vietnam veteran parade that we did last year.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Which was friggin' amazing, and just to see the outpour and support of the citizens of Shepherdsville was amazing. And then this lady here, I'm gonna throw her up on the screen, Miss Courtney.
Oh, yeah.
who is amazing. If you don't know who Courtney is, you need to follow her. Go check out Active Heroes too, because another great organization in the city or in the county of Bullock County. So, all right, James, you're back. Reintroduce yourself to the world of HomeFront Sit Rep, brother.
Hey, my name's James Thornton. I am a self-appointed ambassador for a great veteran nonprofit organization called Warrior Rounds. So to hit on what Dave talked about earlier, we take it's music therapy. It's what it is. So when we were in Nashville, we had a lot of Grammy award-winning singer-songwriters that donated their time. I have started Warrior Rounds Kentucky style. And what we're going to do is we're going to showcase local singer-songwriters with our Warriors. So we're going to be able to push these folks. They're awesome people. We're going to get their name out there, but we're still carrying on the mission. We're still, one thing we learned in Nashville over the years is that not only do they want new music, but they want the story behind the music. And we do just that, because we video on our retreat day, and that's the day that our Warriors are paired up with the singer-songwriters. It's you mentioned it earlier. It could be a tearjerker. I won't mention any names because I like to keep it somewhat of a surprise. But we have a lady that we're going to showcase on the 22nd that was on hospice. And they gave her a certain amount of time to live. And she walks around now in a T-shirt that says, "I failed hospice."
I love that. That's awesome.
She's awesome. All of our folks are awesome. We got a couple of police officers. We got some veterans, combat vets, cancer survivors. We have a Gold Star mom. It's important for those folks because a lot of times they've never told that story before.
Yeah.
I use this all the time, and I say I can put you in front of the best therapists, the best psychologists the country has. First of all, you're mad. You don't want to be there. You're going to say as little as possible, as fast as possible, so you can get out of there. But I can take that same individual and put them in a closed room with a singer-songwriter, and you won't shut up all day. And we have proof because we film it. So again, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, the genre of music that you listen to, none of that matters. You cannot show me an adult today anywhere in the world that music at one point in their life didn't help them out.
Yeah.
You cannot show me that individual. And again, it doesn't matter where you're from. Music is therapy, period.
Oh, yeah.
Just look at it when they drive down the road and how many people are singing along or doing drums on the steering wheel or air guitaring it driving down the road, right? Whether it's them and their thoughts or losing their thoughts or whatever, they're focused on that music at that point in time.
Absolutely.
And it's helping them somehow, some way.
Yeah. And that's the way I am with music. Like, depending on what mood I'm in is what genre I'm listening to. If I'm in a happy-go-lucky mood, I'm either listening to country music or maybe even throwing in some reggae into that as well. But if I'm in a real bad mood, I'm probably going to throw in some Machine Head, some White Zombie, some Marilyn Manson, just depending on what mood I'm in. And then, if I'm just in a chill mode, I might throw in my brother Theory. I'll throw in his music, Berserk's music, something of that nature. Just, and it's just amazing. I have found myself listening to a lot of veteran artists here lately. Like there's on Spotify, there's a playlist that's all veteran artists. And you got to support those guys because they're trying to break into the music industry, whether they're doing it with Label 22, whether they're just trying to be independent and make it on their own. And a lot of their music is phenomenal. You just gotta, and a lot of them tell stories with their music, and that's kind of what Warrior Rounds does with the songs that they create, that tells the story of that person's life. And I made a mistake saying it was just veterans. No, they do community cancer survivors. They do Gold Star family members. Pretty much anybody that is surrounded in that area there that's a survivor. So, well, let's see.
I do, Dave. Can I add this? You made me think of this as we were discussing. I had a chance to meet a lot of the different veterans that came to visit the wall when we had it 2 summers ago, and the story that I tried to tell a bit about it. James knows this, so I tried to meet every veteran and shake their hand and tell them who I am, and very appreciative of being there. And I went up to this one gentleman, a Marine, Richard, and I shook his hand. I said, "My name's Jose Cubero." He goes, "When are we getting our parade?" That's exactly his comment. And I said, "You're getting a parade." And then right about that time, I went running to James and I talked to Courtney and said, "We're going to put this thing together." We put it on the day, March 29th of this year. So it was inspiring, because we really do need to take that era of our history and recognize it for what it really was. Men and women trained to do what they did with government, and obviously all that going on back then was very gray. The mission was very unclear, and that's very unfair to our veterans. And so for them, they felt like a lot of it. My dad remembered, they said, "You don't look at anybody when you come off that plane."
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of instructions they were given because of the intensity of that time. And that's shameful. It's really shameful. And, I think, but in talking to my dad, what limited things he would tell me, right? There's still things I think he wouldn't. But I think all the veterans, when we had that veterans parade, it was really remarkable. I was so proud to carry my dad's picture and hit what's on the banner, to just walk out in front like that. I felt like I was just saying thank you to every veteran. It was really, I turned and I was walking down the street and I had people look at me and go, "Thank you." And that meant more to me than anything. And that wall being there was so inspirational. And I'll tell you what, for a lot of folks, a lot of the conflicts that you got a chance to see that were set up then, which I think is going to be the same thing when we talk a lot about James in the event in November 20th, when they come and arrive in the city, those are going to be more educational things for folks. I mean, there was a lot to learn about what our military has been through all these years. They just don't know. I didn't know. So I think it's been great. It's been a great educational experience. I think it's teachable. We live in the greatest country in the world, and there's a reason why.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 3 of them on this screen. Okay. And I think it's Courtney. We talked about her. I got a Parks Rec, Sam Saturday, Army. Now, you got to be careful with Courtney. She's going to tell you all the armed services aren't any better than the Navy. So just be ready for that conversation, Gunny.
I usually don't let my Uber speak to me.
Oh, I can't wait for you guys to get together. This would be awesome. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. You guys really have a camaraderie about it, and I think it's great. Oh, there you go. Oh, look at that. That's a great looking shirt there, sir.
So I tell this story. I've told it a few times. When we were at the Vietnam traveling wall that we had there in Shepherdsville, I was there every day. I was there every day. I might not have stayed the whole time, but I was there every day. And there was one day, and it was raining, and there was a car that had parked, and the headlights were on, and then it moved from that spot, and it moved to a different spot. Then it moved from that spot to a different spot. Me just being observant, I was like, man, I wonder if everything's okay. So I was in the golf cart, and I drove over there, and I was like, "Hey, is everything all right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm here." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "Do you want to go over to the wall?" And you could tell he was an older gentleman, probably Vietnam era. He goes, "No, I haven't been over there." I said, "Well, I can take you over there." He goes, "It's a long walk." And I was like, "Well, I got the golf cart here. I'll take you over there." And he looked at me. He goes, "No, you don't understand. It's a long walk." And then it hit me. I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Well, when you're ready, just come get us, and we'll come get you and take you over there." And he never, far as I know, while I was there, he never got out of his car to go see the wall. So I'm hoping, this when it comes back to the city of Mount Washington, I'm hoping he shows up again, and I'm hoping he's able to go see the wall. If not, and he still sits in his car, then that's his way of healing. That's the way I got to look at it now, and it's just like, man.
And you've got to understand, when we talk about the Vietnam traveling wall, not too many folks have the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. to see the original wall.
Yeah.
So the healing that this wall does, and I've used this story before, I'll do it quickly. I was at a Vietnam Wall show about 10 o'clock at night, 10:15. A little old man, a little woman showed up. It was 42, 43 degrees. It was not pleasant. They come in, they pick them up, they go to the information table, then they drive them up to the wall. They stood up at the wall for about a half hour, and then they sat in these benches that they had made. And she reaches in this bag and she puts this big blanket over them. And they sat out there till about 3:30 in the morning. And I asked the security, I said, is everything okay? Yeah, they're fine. That's their son on the wall. They had never seen the wall. Now think about this. How important this is, because our Vietnam veteran era, those folks are what, young 70s to 80s?
Yeah.
And for this man who died in Vietnam to have both his parents at the wall 2 years ago and sit out there in 40-degree weather for several hours.
Yeah.
That's what it does, guys.
Yeah, that's whew. Yeah. I like, I had been to the wall in DC. Like, I've seen it a couple times in DC. And I knew what it was, how humbling it was to see it there. But then when you see it in the way it was presented in Shepherdsville, for one, it was a different experience, but it was still so humbling to see. You know, it's just like, and then the foot traffic of all the people coming to visit, and some of them said, "Oh, I've never seen the original one." I just love the fact that we were able to bring that to them, you know, in the city that they live in, and they were able to go see the you know, an 80% replica of the wall that's in DC, and that's amazing, and that's a testament to the mayor of Shepherdsville and the city of Shepherdsville to honor, you know, to honor that, and it's just amazing. So
to add to that, I'll be honest with you, I've seen it a couple times in Washington, D.C. as well. But I just felt like it was more grounded, because we had people that were going up to the wall that had lost their buddies.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those, I tell you what, I'm getting chills right now thinking about some of those stories that I got to hear just bits and pieces of. But one of the other things, along with all the recognition that we're doing locally, as far as the banners are recognizing our local veterans, we don't have a town square. So part of our development of a town square is a 2-block area that's in the downtown area we've got an old bank that's actually going to be like a visitor center. But on the left side of this layout is a veterans memorial. They have all the armed forces on there. It's got a woman soldier on one side, a man soldier on the other side of it. It's going to be kind of a retreat, a place to come in. It's got nice landscape in it, but it's really just for veterans to come in and see, sit down, reflect, whatever they want to do with that area. There's going to be walking trails for them to go through the park. But we wanted to recognize, you know, I think when you kind of said some things earlier, actions speak louder than words. And we want to do everything we can do on that 365. And this was the best way for us, was to have a memorial right there in our town square that you can see every day. And we want our veterans to come by that. If you're just coming through the town, please come see us. James, I can't wait to start planning the next time. I got about 2 years before we get it again. We're going to do it every 4 years here in Shepherdsville. You know, we're trying to figure a way that we could get a replica. I know he's grinning right now, but we're trying to find a way to get our own and just have it here all the time.
Permanently.
I'm trying, sir. I'm trying.
I know you got to work a little harder. So you got to quit taking those 2-minute breaks. But I do think it's a great way for us to continue. We just can't say thank you enough to you and everybody else that has served, because, you know, a lot of people, they want to say, well, I did this or I did this. I didn't. No, once you put your name on that paper, it was unconditional at that point, buddy. And I think that's what people need to understand, because you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what the world is right now. You know, what could be happening in the next 6 months or 2 years. And so, because that's the appreciation that I have for everybody that's made that. That's a serious decision. And for all of you to make it, I can't say thank you enough. And I think if we can, as a city, do all the things to recognize, we want to recognize anytime we can do that. So we're excited. I think there's a lot of cool things going on. I've been introduced to a lot more veterans through being in my position now. I've got a lot of people I went to school with back in the 70s that joined it. A lot of the folks that when I went to high school with in Radcliffe, they joined. I bet you about a third of folks that they because their parents had been both in or one of them had been in the service. So it's good stuff. I think I've really learned a lot, more appreciation for me, and obviously, appreciate my dad's service. But there's a lot of good things going on, and I think as long as we continue to have that enthusiasm that we should have always had, that should be unconditional. And we do. I think when you talk about Shepherdsville, you talk that it's a good community. It really is, and they were very, very grateful. The veterans were, and everybody stepped up and helped James. I thought we had a lot of good volunteers helping out during that time. That really made it an experience that nobody's ever going to forget.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a lot of great people that stepped up, and it was just very humbling and an amazing event to be part of, and I can't wait for it to be here in my city, and then again for it to be back in Shepherdsville, and I'd love for to be here permanently. That'd be I think it'd be pretty neat. So
yeah, I think there's an opportunity for that. Well, listen, we've done a lot of things in the last 2 years and 9 months, right, James?
That's right.
And we're just getting started for a lot of it, but we do want to make sure that it's really understood our veteran recognition and assisting in ways we can with services here. Actually, in this community, instead of it being in Louisville or E-Town, nothing against those two communities, but we have over 1,000 veterans that still live in Bullitt County.
Oh yeah,
and we want to make sure they have the services here that they can drive 10, 15 minutes, get somebody to help them out, get those services in place, get their VA benefits all figured out, and then anything else that they need, any kind of services they need, any kind of therapy. Because I think a lot of them sometimes just kind of held it in. And I think with James, I'm really the JT and James and what they do with the music. I think that's freaking awesome. I just think that's awesome. I really do. One of the things I did not mention so far is I want to make sure with the aquatic center, we're putting on a free service. It'll be 3 hours a week. Veterans can come at any time. No charge. They get to use the indoor pool.
Heck yeah. Awesome.
And I'm hoping, is because of the regional facility like that maybe James will meet up with somebody that's 100 miles away, comes to just to spend free time at our pool and start building those networks with other veterans, right? And just keep that thing going and going and going, and y'all keep in touch with each other because you know each other better than anybody.
Yes, sir.
I could be well intended, but I don't know you like you know each other. And
the thing about veterans though is if like I just met James, we would automatically have that instant bond because we both served in the military. So, and it's the same thing with police officers, same thing with firefighters, EMTs. Yep. We automatically have that bond, and the more that we hang around, the more that bond strengthens. Because like I didn't know James from a hole in a wall until one day I was introduced to him. And then it's like, all right, cool. He's very like-minded, and I'm like, all right, I'll help him, get his feet wet because he was still green, as an ambassador for Warrior Rounds. He was still very green, and he's like, man, I want to do this for the right reason. If I ever step out of line, slap me in the back of the head.
I'm still green.
Yeah.
I'm still green.
He still got bumps on the back of his head too.
Yeah. And so far, James has walked the path. He's talked the talk, and he's done what he said he was going to do. He hasn't strayed from that. And as long as Miss Pam, I think she's still in here watching, as long as Miss Pam keeps James in line, I think he'll do great things for veterans in the Bullitt County area.
His heart's in the right place. His heart's in the right place. I mean, he's got a heart as big as Bullitt County. He really does. And I think it's interesting you say that about Pam. Yeah, it's a full-time job. All right, James, I had to give you another one, man. I'm trying to keep very civil here, but I mean, we know each other. It's fair game now that I've opened that door. So
yes, sir. All right, so let's talk about the first event coming up, November 8th. I'm gonna throw it up right here. James or Mayor Jose, you guys, who wants to talk about it?
James, why don't you give it a spin there?
Okay, so of course, Warrior Round being a 501c3, just about everything we do. We need to run, oh Lord, I forgot the word. Anyway, we need help. So we raise money.
Fundraiser.
Thank you, Dave. So we had a Warrior Run back in the summer. And I think that day, I think the temperature topped out at like 248, 249.
Yeah.
It was extremely horrible. We had several folks show up. We just didn't hang around long because it was just a mess. So I've connected with Mike and Anita over at Jeepville, Jeep Club out of Shepherdsville, and they're willing to put on a warrior run ×2. So we're inviting everybody. If you want to come out, help us raise some money. We're going to spend probably about 4 or 5 hours doing all kinds of goofy stuff. It's not going to be a normal run where we all line up and take off. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but this is going to be pretty neat. They are asking $20 per vehicle, $10 per rider, and that's typically for like the motorcycles. You get the rider and a passenger. So if your Jeep's got 90 people in it, we're still only going to charge you $30. So again, Jeeps, motorcycles, Broncos, pickup trucks, as long as the weather is decent, because the first thing is always we want to make sure everybody's safe. So there is no rain date for this event. We're going to give it one shot and try to go from there. And hopefully we'll have a very successful day.
Awesome. Mayor, you want to add anything to that?
I do. Obviously, unfortunately for me, I'm on vacation that week. And so we talked a little bit about that. But, I want to take the segue of obviously we've got Veterans Day coming right back. I'll be back for that day. And then obviously the celebration of what we can do there. And I do think that there's some way, Dave, you had mentioned about the Veterans Parade. I do think that needs to be in there. I think James and I can probably look at something for next year. We'll have a lot of that town square developed there. We could do something right up front there. We've got the memorial for the veterans. So we'll have some things next year. I do think, James, we need to throw that one in there. But along with and we're going to continue to do the Vietnam Veteran Parade every year. So that's going to happen. So I'd like to have that Vietnam Veterans Parade. I'd like to have our Veterans Day Parade in November. I think that'd be kind of cool. The weather's going to be obviously a lot better than the 248 degrees. But I do think if those are kind of things we're looking at. But I tell you what I like about, we mentioned about the wall, the replica of the wall, and what it brought memories. But there's a lot of education. And I think that what I liked about what's going to happen the 20th, the 21st, and 22nd, James, is I think it's going to be an educational process again for a lot of folks. Really understanding we talked about the commitment that you put your name on there, but the things that we've done all over the world that most people don't have any idea of. Yeah. We talk about it from 9/11 on. Before that, the Iran bombing before that. So there's a lot of things that people need to get back focused on. We have a core of our country that just loves our country and our military, but we've got people that just need to understand more. And James, when you put things like this on, I think we're going to get a few more people to truly understand the cost. Yeah. The cost of what we had to do. Yeah. As a country. So, I want, there you go. You had it up there. That's awesome. And so, James, again, I'll pass it on to you, but like I said, I think you're going to do a great job with this. I think it's going to really help people understand. It just gives them a little bit of understanding of why we do what we do as a country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're proud to present the Global War on Terrorism Tribute Wall. Now, military folks, we call it GWAT, Global War on Terrorism. So we all understand about the Vietnam Wall because it's been out for so long. It has that permanent residency in Washington, D.C. So the company that I'm connected with one of my Army brothers, built this wall, and it's got close to 7,000 names on it. The bad part about this wall is every so often they have to bring it back in to etch more names, because on September the 12th, 2001, the day after the Twin Towers were bombed, President Bush enacted the war on terrorism. And it is an ongoing war. It is still in effect. So we look at the names of all the folks that died from the plane hijacks, the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, the field in Pennsylvania. We look at the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, everything in between. So we've got, again, close to 7,000 names on there. And It's just pretty daggone important that we don't let this slip away. I'm afraid, personally, because we're losing our Vietnam generation. We are. We can't slow time down. We're losing our Vietnam generation. Our generation is this GWAT. But there's not too many people that know anything about it. I posted this on social media, and I had a lady message, and she said she's never heard of this wall. Well, there's a reason for it, because this wall was just nationally introduced in Richmond, Indiana last year. It's the first time it's been shown. Shepherdsville was fortunate enough that we get to show it at the number 2 spot. So we're going to take advantage of this. We're going to invite everybody out. On the 20th, we're not going to have an escort like we did with the Vietnam Wall. We're going to have a small escort, but we are inviting everybody to show up at the Paraket Springs Conference Center in Shepherdsville and help us welcome this wall to town. The escort should be there roughly at 6 o'clock. I know we're going to have tons of Jeeps and motorcycles and just everybody. We want you there just to help us welcome the wall into town. The mayor's going to give a speech. We'll have a little prayer. And then the following morning, we will actually put this wall together. It's going to be roughly 88 feet long. It's going to sit there in front of the flag post at the Paraket Springs Conference Center. Miss Vicki and her staff, they're awesome. We'll get that up, and then that evening we'll have an opening ceremony, an official opening ceremony. We'll have the national anthem, more speeches from our mayor, a couple other people, and we're going to celebrate and honor those folks on that wall, just like the Vietnam Wall, because they deserve it as well. And I don't take nothing away from any of the conflicts, nothing. But we need to get this out. We need to push this. We need to educate and inform folks, especially our youngsters. One of the things that I'm proud of when I have something to do with the Vietnam Wall, I try to get our local scouts involved. Mm-hmm. Now we're talking about young folks. And we have them sit there at the table and they learn how to look up the names on the Vietnam Wall, where they're located. So after they locate it, they know which panel, which line. As they walk up these folks to the wall, they hear stories. So for 4 days, they're hearing stories about Vietnam. They're hearing stuff that's no longer taught in school, guys. Mm-hmm. So out of 20 stories, how many is going to stick? If we get one, we win. And so it's to me, it's very important. It's very important because we have to make sure that these young folks understand where we came from, what we're doing, and why we're doing it. It's not all about what we're seeing or hearing on TV. They do that for ratings. Yeah. We do it because it's the correct thing to do.
Yes, sir.
I think I've got to add also to watching the wall, going back to the Vietnam Wall being put up as it was assembled back together. That was really cool. I know this one's 88 feet, James, but I think it'll still be nice to see that. I mean, these are names of people on there. So each panel is sacred, and to see it put up like that, I tell you, I think you're right about the getting the younger folks to be involved. I thought it was a great thing that James did with the Boy Scouts, the Scout troops. I mean, that was really cool to see that. I actually spoke on the Officer Bates. Remember that? Yep. Batts, Batts, and he's a great story, local guy, but his brother was going to get married, so he took his place. And within, I think it was 6 months, James, when he had passed while he was serving in conflict. And what a phenomenal story that your brother took your place and was able to do that. However, they made that work. And so you remember that. And so these kids are going to see and hear these stories. They're not going to forget. They're going to have that appreciation for this country that, unfortunately, I do believe there's some people have just lost their way, understand the value of this country. And you hate that because I don't know that sometimes it might be ignorance. Sometimes maybe you don't know enough to see the cost of freedom.
Yeah.
I think that is if in lives. That's somebody's brother, somebody's father, somebody's grandfather, somebody's
Yeah.
sister. These are real life folks that are no longer with us because they said yes. This country is worth fighting for. And every time we can put on an event, even these runs, James, they're fundraisers to help, but they're really about awareness.
Absolutely.
Every time we do that, like, what is that for? Well, let me explain to you. You got 2 minutes? I can tell you. So
Yeah.
I think it's great. I mean, you never really could do. You obviously try to be very careful how many events you put on a year. How do you make it all get the full impact? But I really do believe between the two parades, those are great. I think they're going to go well. I think next year when you do a Veterans Parade, Dave, we'll definitely have you involved in that as well. And then,
Yes, sir.
Gunny, we'd love to have you come down every time, man. I mean, fly in, just drop in on us, man. That'd be fun. I'm really in awe of what you do there, and I do think people do really. I think when they see you do those type of activities, it does give them some awe of the military, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like
Oh, yeah.
Rangers, and when we see those, we're like, wow, that's us. That's the United States military right there.
Yeah, or fly over in the sports stadium with the jets.
Yeah,
It just yeah, it gets. And
it's
talking about with the wall and having the youth involved with that, right? So here's the thing: we talk about it here all the time on the show. Is as long as we say their name, their memory's not forgotten.
That's right.
And the good thing about having the scout troops go up to the wall, they get to hear that person's name, and guess what? They're never going to forget that person's name. Each name that they went and visited with whoever they were taking up to the wall, they're going to remember those names for the rest of their life. And guess what? They might tell their kids, and then their kids are going to keep their memory alive. So that's something that we have to preach and talk about, because I tell my kids all the time, as long as we say their name, their memory will never be forgotten. And that's something that we just need to stand by.
We had a lady show up at the Vietnam Wall, and when she was in school, they did something, and they got some bracelets of some men that were serving in Vietnam. Well, so many months or whatever passed by, she found out that the gentleman that she had on the bracelet was killed in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Her and her husband drove to Shepherdsville so she can find his name.
Oh,
Wow.
Man.
Wow.
Think about that. That's why it's so important we reach these school kids.
Yep.
There's a
Yeah.
prime example. She
Yeah.
was a school kid, and she got a bracelet with a gentleman's name on it.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta look too. You go to Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and there was a lot of media coverage of the coming homes, right? The flying back into Bangor, Maine, and all those welcome homes that were happening through Iraq, Afghanistan. That didn't happen.
No.
You saw the individual, from the family or from a sports team welcome home, but you didn't see the big welcome homes because it went on for 20 plus years, right?
Yeah.
So that rotation always happened. Maybe the first few units that came back, you got to see it, but it wasn't like it was for Desert Storm, Desert Shield. And of course, obviously the Vietnam vets didn't get it until many, 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 many years later. And there's still a lot of them that haven't received a proper welcome home. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, even our generation, I came back in the back of a C-17 to a C-130 to an ambulance. My welcome home was two people from my command and my wife.
Yeah.
And on a gurney in a hospital bed. That was my welcome home.
Wow.
Yep. My nephew, who was deployed, just came back. I didn't even know he was back until my sister called and said, "Hey, we went and picked up your nephew." I was like, well, heck, I thought I was going to go down and, but it didn't happen. But, she said that they just showed up. The colonel had a speech, said, "All right, go see your families." And boom, they just let him go and do the thing. And, now he's home for, he's on leave right now because he was there for almost a year and, or actually 9 months. I guess it was 9 months. And, so they're definitely not, granted, there's nothing super major going on in that where he was at in Kuwait, but there's still a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I'm just glad he's back. And but as long as we keep people's memories alive, then we'll be good. We'll be golden. James, I'll throw up the next slide in 1 second. I got to keep TikTok alive here.
You're fine. Let's talk about that morning before we talk about that evening.
All right, go ahead.
So the morning of November the 22nd, again, Jeepville, Mike and Anita, we're going to have a monster bike and Jeep jam. We got cornhole tournaments. There's going to be duck games. It's going to be up. Don't ask me what a duck game is. I'm not a Jeeper. I know they throw ducks, they find ducks, they hide ducks, they count ducks. They do all kinds of stuff with ducks. But cornhole tournament now, of course, November, Kentucky, third week of November. It can either rain, it could be 158 degrees, it could be snowing or ice, or so everything is weather played by the weather. But we're going to have a jam up good time that morning from 12 till roughly about 6 o'clock p.m. Paracut Springs Conference Center. We have worked our goose off for over a year to present Warrior Rounds Kentucky style. We have selected 8 warriors. Again, that could be veterans, combat veterans, cancer survivors, Gold Star family members, first responders. And we've got 9 local singer-songwriters that have hooked up with these warriors and listened to their stories and wrote songs for them. Now, the flyer says 9 local singer-songwriters. We actually have 10 singer-songwriters, but the other one lives in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and his name is J.T. Cooper. He's not a local boy. I'm trying to get him up here, but I don't know. So we're going to have that concert that's going to start about 6 p.m. A local band called Salt River Revival is going to open up the concert for us. Then we'll go into the storytelling part about Warrior Rounds and these fine warriors that we're helping out. And then we'll have a little intermission where Salt River Revival is going to help us out a little bit more. And then we'll finish up the show. The most important thing that I can stress, anything that Warrior Rounds does, anything that we try to put our hands on is free. It's free. The concert's free. The wall's free. The runs, stuff like that, those are the fundraisers that we help to do stuff like this so we can continue pushing this music therapy. Because again, guys, if you've never witnessed it or never been a part of it, it's so awesome. It really is. I mean, again, warriorrounds.com, YouTube, everywhere, just go in and type in Warrior Rounds, look for the videos. It just, it's something when you see an individual that has never really spoken about their problems. When they sit in a room with a songwriter all day long and we video that, and then the songwriter, they write a song, and then 5, 6, 7 months later, we have this concert. And to have this warrior sitting at a table with their closest family members that really don't have any idea what's going on, and then that video plays. Now you got a whole table crying. And then the next table sees that table crying, so now they're crying. And it's just, if you can, bring a box of Kleenex and share with your neighbor. 6 to 9 p.m., November 22nd. It's going to be, there's a young lady down in, I say young, she was in her 80s in Nashville. And said, it's just a big slobbering cry fest. So it's not going to be that way all night. Of course, again, we got Salt River Revival in there to help pull us back up, help us get our stuff together. The convention center will have food and drink there for us. So please don't bring anything from the outside in. It's just going to be, we're going to have one hellacious good time. It really is, guys. If you can be there. I know Willis is going to be there. He's going to have 2 separate cameras filming it for us, so we'll have the full event. I know our mayor has prior obligations. He won't be with us that day.
I'll be there, James. I'll definitely be there up until like 4. I'm going to, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just won't be able to make the 6 o'clock. But I do think, I think what you're doing You know, when we talk about just the idea of all the different events, I think it's going to be that time at what I call storytelling time for a lot of the, hopefully the families are bringing their kids out and making that time to go, hey, thank you for being here, but let's give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna give you a real idea, a perception of something that you may not even know yet. And that's what you want them to leave with, right? We want everybody to have a good time, but what do you leave with when you leave any kind of event that we do all year long for military? What did you get out of that event that day?
Yeah.
Most of it's an appreciation, first of all, for the country that we have, and then understanding why we have that country.
And I'm going to get shot in the nose if I don't mention this, but Bullitt County Music Fest was absolutely 100% instrumental in helping us do this because of their lighting people, their sound people, their connections with the singer-songwriters. So Jenny Grant and Ryan and all those folks, hey, thank you so much. We couldn't have done this without your help. And there's just a lot of moving parts to this. I'm after November 22nd, I think I'm gonna lay down and sleep for about 6 months.
No, we got work to do, James. I'll give you a couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks off.
I'm
2 weeks.
I'm tired. It's well worth it. If Goofy James just kicks over on the 23rd, everybody that knows James can say he died happy because he got done what he intended to start. And that was just like with the Vietnam Wall. I worked my tail off on that one, and then it was a huge success. And then this one, this event, and then I'm going to bust my butt for Mount Washington to help them. And if I can do anything to help veterans or a veteran, I'm going to do it. Rest assured, I'm going to do it. Period.
Pam's going to keep you in line if you don't.
Yeah. She's got.
She's awesome. Trust me. Look, when we were getting ready for the Vietnam Wall, that young lady would tell you she'd come down here at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm still on the computer. She's like, "Can't you go to sleep?" No, mine's rolling. I got to get this done, And then I'd go to sleep 4 or 5 hours, and right back up because daggone it, I just dreamed of something else that I needed to do. I had to do it.
Yeah,
we do.
Well, unfortunately, our time is getting short here. With Reach Across America Radio, which are one of our partners, we have to keep it to about an hour 15. I do want to say I can't wait for these events to happen. I'm super excited to see everything that you are doing, Mayor, in the city of Shepherdsville. And if I or Gunny can help you in any way, we will definitely be there to help you and support you along that journey. Because, like you said, if you served our country, which I believe is the greatest country in the world, because I've been to some places that are really, really, really shitholes. And I'm sure the three of us on the screen have been to some places that people would friggin' roll over in their graves if they've seen. And we appreciate everything that you and the city council is doing for our veterans in the city of Shepherdsville. And I'm hoping that you guys will translate to other smaller cities to get more involved with the veteran community that lives within their county or their city, because who was it? Ron said right here, a buddy of mine is a Vietnam veteran. That parade meant the world to him. He really appreciated it. That right there, just knowing one person, we talk about it all the time. As long as we reach one veteran, that's all that matters. And you touched a bunch of veterans that day with the Vietnam Veteran Parade, and it's just it's amazing.
And you see that Joshua Kegley?
Yes.
He witnessed the unveiling of the GWAT wall in Richmond, Indiana. If I'm not mistaken, Josh also helped put it together, and he was there the whole time.
Oh, cool.
That gentleman right there. Those are the types of folks that we do it for.
Yep.
It's not only the education for the younger folks. It's the Band-Aid that some veterans need. It's that healing process. And until you've been there, until you've witnessed it, it doesn't make sense. But sometimes you can just see this veteran shaking. You know, his gait's not real good, headed towards the wall. Then when he walks away, he's smiling. He's upright.
Yeah.
Explain that. You know, that's why we do it.
So James, just so you know, Fritz, after the Vietnam parade, that was really cool, man. Just seeing his face and just he was lit up. I mean, tears coming down both sides of his face. He was just happy for that to be really a part of his life. I mean, he was. That's just one. There was a number of them. And I think, like I said, it really went well for the Vietnam Wall. This is James. I know you've been working hard on this one. It's going to go well. Our community's been very supportive. Really has been. I mean, I'm talking about the community of Bullitt County, state of Kentucky. We're very conservative in the way that we look at things. But I think we have a ton of people that appreciate what you guys have done in serving your country. And we're going to continue to say thank you. But you know what? You're right. There are some people out there that just don't know how much we appreciate them. We're going to find them. We're going to find them in one of these different venues. We're going to find them and be able to tell them, thank you so much for what you've done.
And you mentioned something real important. You talked about Mr. Fritz.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Mr. Fritz is one of our warriors?
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. I can't wait.
That is cool.
That's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome.
Yep. And his singer-songwriter is Mr. Les Masters. And just to let the cat out of the bag a little bit, they have gone to dinner. Their families have met.
Yeah, that's cool.
You see what we've done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. It's not that we just tell Mr. Fritz's story. Now he's got other people that he has been able to open up to and talk to.
Yeah.
And he just came back from an honor flight too. That was really cool.
Yes, sir.
Last couple of weeks. So there's just a lot of stuff like this really means a lot. But to see the veterans with the facial expressions and seeing that they it's kind of almost a full circle to them. They when they were excited when they came in and they wanted when they closed this chapter of their life and they want to be able to say yes. It was the same way when I started. I want to finish that same way on a real positive, upbeat note. And yet knowing that you all have experienced things that most of us don't even understand.
Yes, sir.
We just don't. And again, so we try our very best, and we are every day. And I'm honored to be involved with all of you. And I thank you guys again for having us on. And James, I love you. Love that your passion's out there for the veterans. And I love I really do think the lyrics and helping some of these folks just release that from the burden that they have and put it in a way that really is something very proud they can hold on to. You've turned something that's inside of them in a dark way, and you've turned it into something really, really good. So God bless you for all of you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us on.
Well, thank you guys both again. I know both of you guys are super busy, and Mayor, I know you had to drive into City Hall to be here tonight. So we definitely want to thank you guys again for coming on and hanging out with us here at HomeFront Sit Rep and talking about everything that's going on in the Bullitt County area. And I can't wait to see, be more involved with things that are going on in the Bullitt County area with veteran related stuff. And it's just amazing. We're going to be here to support both of you guys. If you need anything from either one of Gunny or myself, James knows how to get in touch with us. And I think you got my number as well, Mayor. Feel free to reach out to me anytime when it's veteran related. And we will definitely be there to help you guys.
We appreciate it. And God bless.
I'm going to drop you guys down. We're going to end the show real quick.
Right.
Thank you. All right, Gunny, what do you think, my friend?
Y'all got a lot going on down your neck of woods.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
A lot of stuff going down. A lot of great things going on down there. I know James been putting in a lot of hard work. I mean, we talked about it after the wall was here last time. And, the possible events that were coming up, and now they're coming to light. So yeah, super excited. And if I'm not busy doing team things, I do know that we have the University of Cincinnati that day on the 22nd. But I don't know.
Is it early or late?
Don't know. They don't announce until the Thursday before.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Hopefully it's early
it's
game.
Going to be. I think that might be the BYU game, and if it is, if BYU continues on the path they are, and UC continues on the path that they are, that game is going to decide who goes to the Big 12 championship.
Ooh, and it'd be a late game too, more than likely.
Yeah, it'll be an even game, a primetime game.
So the one thing the mayor didn't talk about is he also has a podcast called No Way Jose. No, hold on. Let's bring him up. He says it's the wrong name.
Yep.
What's
Yes Way Jose.
Yes Way Jose?
Yeah, because everybody knows No Way Jose. And I want to tell you that the two guys that came to me about that a couple of years ago said, hey, we'd like to do a podcast. And so Yes Way Jose is a way for us to inform folks here. It's a great time. I've had James on the show. We'd love to have maybe you guys flip and come and have a time with us. We'll bring you here to City Hall. We set everything up here. Love to have you guys talk a lot about what you do, because obviously, Gunny, everything you do there is in the state of Kentucky in a regional aspect. We want people to know everything you guys are doing, especially your podcast too. Yeah.
So Yes Way Jose. So Mr. Mayor, how can they find it?
So if you go to Yes Way Mail, Yes Way Jose Mail at gmail.com. And then a lot of times you go to YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all of them. You can just search it. It pops right up. You'll see it out there. It's the only unique thing, Yes Way Jose. I think it's kind of catchy at first, but I do think every medium, especially since people are using social media so much today, it's their opportunity. If they're in the car, just flip it on and listen a little bit on the road. I think it's a great way for us to continue getting out everything about our veterans. I mean, just you said, one at a time. But listen, I thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it. And Gunny, I can't wait to see some of the stuff that you do, man. It's going to be cool.
Sure. You're welcome.
Nope. Cut him off.
Cut him off. Again, sorry about that, Mr. Mayor. All right. So,
it's all right.
So a lot of things going on, and James didn't even talk about Operation Veteran Santa. This is our third year doing that as well. It's in full swing. We're doing 7 counties. Thumbs up. That's 7 counties, right, James? Thumbs up or thumbs down? I think it's 7 counties. Thumbs down? 5 counties. All right, 5 counties. We're trying for 2 veterans in each county. We got representatives from each county. We're looking for veterans in need for Christmas. So if you're out there, you can get a hold of me or James. If you know a veteran that's in need, veteran family. So not just a veteran, but a veteran with family that's in need for Christmas, whether it's food, clothing, toys, whatever. Look up Operation Veteran Santa on Facebook, get in touch with the group there. Amazing group that's, spearheading that right now. This is our 3rd year doing that. The cool thing about Operation Veteran Santa was the first year we did it, we found one veteran that had taken in his nieces and nephews. It was in Bullitt County in Shepherdsville. The next year, he played our Santa the next year.
Oh, very
so
cool.
He got to go to all the different families with us. And it was super cool that, each one of the families the next year was like, man, we want to be involved next year, so it just keeps growing and growing because humanity out there, they people are like, oh, people really do care. And we as veterans, we're very stubborn and pig-headed. We don't like asking for help. So if you know a veteran out there that is in the surrounding counties around Bullitt County, reach out to James or myself and let us know. So that way they can be on our radar and we can take care of them, hopefully. Because we got, Toys for Tots, Louisville involved. We got all these different business entities that are involved. So reach out to us. Gunny, it's about that time, my friend.
Sure is. Yeah, you're not alone. You still have worth. You still have value. Don't let the dark days win. We're all struggling with something in our lives. And, sometimes you just need to get the demons out. The more and more you push them down, sometimes you implode instead of, or explode on somebody. So get those demons out. It's not good to keep them in.
Yeah, amen. This right here, in the silence of your struggles, remember, though unseen, you are deeply held in the hearts of others. You are not alone. That right there is just so powerful. Of course, Gunny, you say it very elegant. Don't let the dark days win. Because you are not alone. We take care of our own. And this right here, the uniform may come off, but the bond remains. And together we heal, we rise, and we carry each other forward. That right there says it all. And then hashtag be someone stranger. We talk about this all the time on HomeFront Sit Rep. Be someone stranger. And what I mean by that is we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. And James will be the first one to tell you that some veterans out there would rather talk to a complete stranger than their wife, their spouse, because that's the ones that you can reach. Because if they hear your story, they're going to open up and tell their story, and that's when the healing begins. So be someone stranger. So if
Well,
you're out
I
and
think that
about,
to touch on that, a lot of us, we don't care what strangers thinks about us, right?
right?
If they look at us cross-eyed or we have something growing out of our head, that's one thing. But when we start to open up to our family, all right, you don't want to look like that evil person or that demon or somebody that your family doesn't recognize. And they sometimes they don't want to know the struggles that are going on.
Yeah,
We just got back from the Warriors on a cruise, and we're looking at it. Of the 28 Purple Heart recipient couples that were there, I want to say maybe 3 of us were with our spouse or significant other prior to injury. So my wife's been with me from day one. She knows
right.
everything, right? And some of the other ones, they've been married for a year, maybe 2. And they weren't there when they were going through their big struggles. And there are still struggles, but sometimes you don't want your spouse to know what you're dealing
Yeah.
with. So talking to that stranger just sometimes gets it off your chest.
Yeah, amen. So if you're out and about and you see somebody and it looks like they're having a bad day, go up to them, say, "Hey, how you doing?" And if they give you the red flags, "I'm okay, I'm hanging in there, I'm living a dream," ask the next hard question: "How are you really doing?" And be ready for that conversation, because it could be a 5-minute conversation, could be an 8-hour conversation. You just have to be ready for that conversation.
Yeah, it takes a village. Use your people. We all have friends, right? And when I moved from the infantry over to the air wing, I became real close with a guy who is now my oldest son's godfather. And we were going to races, and one day I just started opening up to him, and he looked at me. He's like, "Dude, I don't understand." He spent just as much time in the Marine Corps at that time than I had, but all his time was in the air wing, so he didn't get to experience what I did. But he listened, and I told him, I just need you to listen. Right? You need somebody, pick up your phone, open your contacts, scroll through, play cell phone roulette, and just blindly hit a name. If they don't answer, do it again. And just somebody answers, "I just wanted to check in on you, see how you're doing. It's been a while." I might hit Willis 3 times out of 3 times. "Hey, it's been a while. I want to talk to you. Dude, you just talked to me yesterday." Hey, it's just one of those.
It's been a while.
It's been 24 hours. That's long enough. But
There you
just
go.
reach out to your people. Use them. We're all here for each other.
Yeah, definitely takes a village. Do the cell phone roulette like Gunny was saying, man. Open up your contacts, scroll through it, hit the button. You never know. You might save that person's life on the other side. You
Yep.
never know.
Your
You never know
voice.
what they're going.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe not your voice. My voice.
yeah,
just
your
might
voice.
be
Yeah,
the voice
yeah.
that somebody needs to hear.
I want to give a big shout out to our partners, not sponsors, but partners. Heroes Media Group, Adam Burden, his team at heroesmediagroup.com. Phenomenal people. So go check out heroesmediagroup.com. Reese Across America Radio. The link is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. That's www.reaseacrossamerica.org/radio. You can find Homefront Sit Rep on the Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. That's Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. So go check out Homefront Sit Rep and Reach Across America Radio. I know Reach Across America is in full swing right now, getting ready to to transport the wreaths to all the national cemeteries. So if you're a nonprofit out there, go to Reach Across America, sign your nonprofit up. That way you can get $5 from each sale of each wreath to help support your nonprofit, but you're
They'll send you
also
a code.
helping.
They have to order the wreath through that code.
Yep, you'll get a code or a link, and that also helps put wreaths on veterans' graves in national cemeteries across the United States. So go check out Reach Across America and also Reach Across America Radio. And then Same Flag, Same Oath.com, who made our amazing shirt. It says Marine It Down on the front, written in red crown. It's a wordplay on Keep It Simple, Stupid. Elite Engraving, who did this amazing hat right here. You can get several different colors. It's a Richardson 112. I'm actually in the process of doing an embroidered hat for you and I, Gunny. So it'll be the logo, but it'll be embroidered. So it won't be the round. It'd be the normal logo.
Yeah.
Working on getting that for us as well. Go check out homefrontsitrep.com and you can see all these amazing nonprofits that we've had on the show, singers, you name it. It's all on there. There's also a merch link there. You can click on the merch link. It'll take you to sameflagsameoath.com or eliteengraving.com as well. So go check out those. And I think that's our last. Military United podcast streams, Valor Coins and Pins with Brent Casey and Brian Casey, grandsons of Herschel Woody Williams. Go check out those guys as well. Other than that, my friend, I think that's it, right, Gunny?
That's it.
All right.
What do we
So
got tomorrow?
Tomorrow, as of right now, it's just you and I bumping our gums tomorrow.
That works.
Gunny.
That works.
Yeah. So let me take this off the screen. So yeah, as of right now, it's just you and I bumping our gums, talking about things, and we could probably do a quick recap of, our year to date. Just a quick recap, maybe. Just talk, highlight some things, talk about other veteran events that are going on that we know about in different parts of Kentucky and Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, and things like that as well. So if you're out there and you know of events that we don't have, Homefront Sit Rep actually has a page, events page as well, and it shows upcoming episodes of Homefront Sit Rep, and it also has veteran events. I always try to throw those on the calendar as well. So reach out to me and say, hey man, we got this a veteran event, and if there's a event created on Facebook, I can share it to the calendar. That way people can go to Homefront Sit Rep and see all the events and stuff that are coming up. So, but it is about that time of night, my friend. Like we always say on Homefront Sit Rep, stay safe out there. We got your
six.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find Homefront Sit Rep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.